Welcome, friends, to Chapter by Chapter, the interview series. I'm Paige Turner, and today we're opening the pages of It's All About Him, a book that helps us see faith not as a formula, but as a friendship. Joining me is its author and pastor, Lee Venden, and together we'll explore how each chapter brings us a little closer to knowing Jesus personally. Today we look into Chapter 2, It's Who You Know. Lee, the title of this chapter, It's Who You Know, sounds like something we usually hear when people talk about getting ahead in business or politics, but you use it to describe something entirely different. What did you mean by that?
You're right, Paige. In the world, it's who you know usually means pulling strings or having the right connections, but in the Christian life, it describes something far more beautiful. Salvation isn't about knowing the right people, it's about knowing the right person. Jesus said, "This is life eternal, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom you have sent." So the chapter is really about how faith begins, not with rules, formulas, or spiritual resume building, but with relationship.
So we don't earn God's favor by what we do.
Exactly. We receive it through who we know. The Christian journey starts with meeting a person, not mastering a program.
You mention early in the chapter that many of us grow up hearing about Jesus without ever getting to know him personally. That sounds familiar and sad.
It is sad because religion can become a substitute for relationship. We can know doctrine, attend church, and serve on committees, and still not know Jesus intimately. I sometimes illustrate it by saying you can read every article ever written about someone famous and still not be their friend. The Pharisees in Jesus' day were experts in Scripture, but when the author stood before them in person, they didn't recognize him.
That's a little scary. If people who studied the Bible could miss him, what chance do we have?
We have the best chance in the world because Jesus still introduces himself to anyone who wants to know him. He doesn't demand a resume. He just asks for a heart that says, "Lord, I want to know you."
You tell a story about realizing that Christianity isn't information, it's connection. Can you share that turning point?
Sure. For years, I treated Christianity like a course of study. Learn enough, behave enough, and you'll pass. Then I read a line in a little book entitled Steps to Christ that said, "A knowledge of God is the foundation of all true education." It hit me that I could accumulate Bible facts and still fail the class if I didn't know the teacher personally. That realization changed everything. I began to pray differently, not "help me do better," but "help me know you better." And when the focus shifted from performance to relationship, peace followed.
That's liberating and a little uncomfortable for those of us who like checklists.
Exactly. Relationship is messier but infinitely more real. You can't measure friendship by tally marks.
You quote Paul saying, "I know whom I have believed." That's personal language.
Yes, Paul didn't say, "I know what I have believed." He said, "whom." That one letter, M, changes everything. Christianity isn't a set of positions, it's a person who positions himself beside us. Once you've met him, doctrine stops being dry. Truth becomes relational. You start obeying not to earn love, but because you already have it.
So are you saying even obedience flows out of friendship?
Exactly. When you know him, trust grows naturally and obedience becomes a love response, not a legal requirement.
You talk about barriers that keep people from that kind of knowing: guilt, fear, busyness. Which one do you think gets us most often?
Busyness, hands down. We fill every moment and then wonder why God seems distant. But friendship requires time. If you told a friend, "I really value our relationship, but I only have 30 seconds for you today," it wouldn't go very deep. God isn't waiting with a stopwatch. He's waiting with open arms.
That's convicting. We make appointments for everything except the one relationship that gives meaning to the rest.
That's right. Spiritual growth happens in the quiet, not the rush.
In the chapter, you say that when we truly know Jesus, it shows. What does that look like?
It looks like the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. Those aren't virtues we manufacture, they're evidences of proximity. When Moses spent time with God, his face shone. We may not glow in the dark, but people can tell when we've been with Jesus.
So then transformation is the byproduct of friendship.
Correct. Relationship first, transformation follows.
If someone watching right now realizes they've known about Jesus but not known him personally, how would you encourage them to begin?
Start by talking to him honestly. You don't need fancy words, just openness. Tell him, Lord, I want to know you. Then spend time in the Gospels as if you're walking beside him. Ask him, what does this show me about your heart? Over time, you'll find yourself responding with affection instead of obligation. That's friendship, and it's what salvation is really all about.
Beautiful. It's who you know, not what you do or achieve.
Exactly. And the wonderful secret is that Jesus already knows you, and he's been waiting for you to know him back.
Lee, everything you've said makes me think knowing Jesus really is the whole point, and then every other part of the Christian life flows from that friendship.
That's right. Once we know him, trust grows, love deepens, and everything else finds its rightful place. Our service, our study, even our obedience stop being duties and become responses. Relationship first, everything else follows naturally.
That's the thread that ties this chapter, and really this whole series, together.
Exactly. Every chapter is another way of saying it's all about him, and every moment with him makes life a little more like heaven, right here and now.
Beautifully said. In fact, I'm sure heaven will actually be all about him too. This chapter has spoken to my heart. If it has spoken to your heart as well, I hope you'll join us for the next one as we continue our journey through It's All About Him. If you'd like to actually read the book, it is available for purchase on Amazon.com. And if you know someone who might be encouraged by what you've heard, please share this link and help spread the blessing. Until next time, this is Paige Turner reminding you to keep your eyes on him.